Hello! I recently spoke about books that I reread in the year 2020, and now I'm going to talk about books that I read for the first time in 2020 that I would like to reread. And I've kept this to a very small list. So this is just 5 books because I could go wild, so I want to just focus on the main ones that I want to reread. So the first of those is Loveless by Alice Oseman. This is a young adult contemporary story that follows Georgia as she goes to university and she's desperate to find love, but actually discovers that the reason it's not working for her is because she's aro ace, and she doesn't really know what that means at first, so she kind of has to figure that out and then figure out how it works for her. And I thoroughly enjoyed this. As someone who identifies as demisexual, I found this really interesting, and I really want to reread it because I feel like it's one of those powerful stories that will stay powerful regardless how many times you read it, you know? Similarly, we have The Sound of Stars by Alicia Dow, which is a young adult science fiction story that follows Ellie, who is human, and she's living on Earth after it's been colonized by aliens. And so the human race is kind of imprisoned by these alien races that have taken over, and they're imprisoned and under a lot of restrictions about what they can and cannot do. And one of the things that they cannot do is they cannot enjoy art in any form, including books. But Ellie loves books, and so she's running an illegal library, and then one of the books goes missing. And then there's also a lab-grown alien called Morris, who we follow, who loves music. And that doesn't make sense because he's an alien and he's not supposed to experience emotion in that way. This dealt with so many underlying themes, which I thoroughly enjoyed, but also the adventurous nature of this story was just fantastic and I loved it, and not enough people have heard of this book or read it, and I really hope that more people do because it's incredible. I thoroughly enjoyed this one, and I haven't heard anything about a sequel yet, and I'm desperate for one, but in the meantime I'll make do with rereading it. Then we have one that possibly won't surprise you, and that is the Keeper of the Lost Cities series by Shannon Messenger. So I have read all of the books that are out in this series so far and thoroughly enjoyed them. Absolutely love this series. It's a middle grade fantasy that follows Sophie, who is a telepath, and she discovers that she's not human, she's an elf, and that's why she's never really fit in. But she's also a chosen one in the elfin world, and so she kind of sticks out like a sore thumb there too. But she does move to the elven kingdoms and become embroiled in this plot, and it's just great. I love these books. I've read them all once. I can't wait to reread them all multiple times. High reread priority. Love this series. Then a book that I will reread when I need a little bit of a pick-me-up is The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune, which is a book that I read this year and was just so unbelievably adorable and heartwarming and happiness inducing that I definitely will reread this when I need a little bit of that feeling. This follows Linus, who is essentially a social worker in this version of our world where magical children live in orphanages, and it's his job to go and inspect these orphanages and make sure that children are being protected, but also society is being protected. And he's very straight and narrow, he sticks to the rules, he just does his job and gets on with it. And then he's given a special assignment to go to the house in the Cerulean Sea to inspect a very special group of children and ensure more so the safety of the community rather than them. and the characters in this are just they're so real. And it's funny because they're all magical beings, and a lot of them are magical beings not in the sense of they're, you know, human or humanoid with magical powers. Some of them are not, and they're just so real, and they jump off the page, and the relationships in this story are just wonderful, and it is really just such a feel-good story. So I have this in my back pocket ready to pick it up when I need a bit of a boost. And then finally, one that I will hopefully be rereading sooner rather than later is Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson, which, yes, I did only just read this in November, but it's a chonker and so much happens in this book that I really would like to reread it and really concentrate on everything that's going on, because the first time I read it I kind of just wanted to read it and get to the end to see what ultimately happened, and so I didn't pay as much attention to the finer details as I like to with these books, but I do tend to do that with the Stormlight Archive on reread. And there's also lots of references to the Cosmere in general in this one, some of which I didn't pick up on the first time, so I would like to go back through knowing that they're there because I've heard about them from others and pick up on them this time. So I really look forward to rereading this one and going through it with a fine-tooth comb to find out all the little details here and there. I may tab it, I'm not sure. And yeah, really excited to reread this one, really excited. And that's it. I did say I was keeping this list short, so I have. These are 5 books that I would really like to reread in 2021. And if you have any books that you read for the first time in 2020 that you are keen to reread, do let me know down in the comments. And that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and want to see more like this from me, then do think about hitting that subscribe button, and I hope to see you here again soon. Thanks!